And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Power Hour for this Wednesday, the 17th of January, 2024. And don't adjust your sets. Yes, we are at Mill Creek Metro Parks and the golf course specifically. One of my best friends in the entire world, Mr. Brian Tolnor, joining me. A very exciting, I'd like to say exciting day, but you guys have been open for, what, a week now? Something like that?
Yeah, we had a ribbon cutting last Tuesday, and we've been off and running ever since. So it's good.
And this has been the dream of this course for some time. I mean, this golf simulators you can see behind us. I mean, this place is beautiful, Brian. I mean, and it doesn't surprise me because everything you do and your crew does with Stacy is especially first class across the board. And this place, you call this Bay 3, but it's like its own like golf club here in this on the very top of top floor Mill Creek golf course.
Absolutely. It's a project that we started back in 2016 as part of the 10-year capital improvement projects. Obviously, when COVID hit, that was the time frame that we wanted to get it in. But we did take a couple of years really researching other facilities geographically in our area, a couple out of state as well, just to make sure that what we did here was first class and everything was, all the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed. And then COVID hits, puts it on a delay because construction costs were, absolutely through the roof. And then finally got it back on the slate. And we started this spring. Supposed to open up in September, had some issues with some permitting, just like any other project would be right now. And then had the availability to get it open here, last Tuesday with the ribbon cutting. And it gives us the opportunity to have 12 months of golf. In addition to the golf, our restaurant will now be open 12 months. So when you come out, you do cross-country skiing, you do snowshoeing and hiking and biking on the trails because we allow people to do that all winter long on the cart paths on both the north and south. It gives them an opportunity to come in, get warmed up, grab a bite to eat, and then go back out. So, days like yesterday and today when the snow's on the ground and it's cold, we see, 20 or 30 people out there cross country skiing. So on top of that, giving people the opportunity to golf and practice and work on their game during the off season. So when March and April come, we're off and running.
For you as a lifelong golfer, a guy that loves it and it's his passion, to be able to bring to the Valley these golf simulators, this experience, because I hate to say, because anybody can get golf simulators. You can put a golf simulator in your garage, but this is more of an experience. This is, I mean, right behind us is Pebble Beach. You were just, doing your best to get it in the hole. I didn't want to show you up, of course, but like when you think about the experience, you said you went to different locations.
Correct.
Does it feel real yet for you? I mean, from beginning to end, from all the setbacks, all the obstacles that you and your team have faced and kind of hopped over those and done everything the right way, to have it, I want to say in finality, but I don't think knowing you, it's never going to be finalized. There's always going to be something to add on. Does it feel real? And is it achieving what you hoped it would?
You know what? It's starting to, up to this point, everything that we've done here, when it calls for the golf operation for capital improvements has been really fixing some of the things that have been neglected over time, bunker restoration, greens drainage, cart paths, getting a new cart fleet, adding a pool cart fleet, little things that we've kind of built upon, the renovation of the golf shop have all been things to just fix what was here. This is the first project that, really changes the mold on something new. We basically took I would say, nothing short of a wasted area in the upstairs of the field house, which was a 1960s style locker room, and really transitioned it to what it is today. It was an unused area, really been kind of just left to go away in the 80s, 90s, or whatever the time frame was. But to be able to gut the upstairs out and put 3 TrackMan bays in an indoor chipping and pitching area, Callaway Club Performance Center, and an Odyssey Putter Lab, and have some offices and stuff up here has been special, and it's a new income stream. We look at each area of the golf operation and the recreation operation is, what can we do from a profit center standpoint? And this unused space will now be a profit center to be able to keep reinvesting back into, the golf operation and the rec department as well. So, we're excited for the new opportunity, and we're excited to be able to teach. We've got demo days every Saturday up here 12 months. So, to get on the simulators, and you showed Pebble Beach back here, and to go to the driving range and work on your game, there's about 300 courses that you can play all over the world. And then there's the driving range component. There's games for the kids. I mean, there's a lot of uses for what we have up here in beyond just the club, fitting aspects of it and the teaching component.
I love that this is a literal one-stop shop for everything that you need at golf. Is there anything out there that you can think of that you say it's not a one-stop shop for everything? These are still some of the things that we want to bring to the Youngstown and regional area.
Well, you want it to be, very versatile. For example, to have the club fitting center in here. Callaway has one in Cleveland. They don't have one in Pittsburgh. So we're kind of like the Pittsburgh
The in
hub
between, yeah.
when it comes to that. So to be able to bring people in here from, Western Pennsylvania and, the lower corridor of New York that would come just to get fitted. They would drive 3 and 4 hours just to be able to, see all the technology that we have here, and to get fitted for clubs is huge. You can get your grips done in the room as well. So we have a number of different kinds of grips there, from putter grips to clubs. I mean, we're the one-stop shop when it comes to, hey, I'm going to hit some golf balls when I'm done. I might want to leave my clubs here to get regripped, and the next time you come, they're done and ready to go. If you need a set of clubs or need it fitted for the new product, part of having this performance center is we'll get the product about 2 or 3 months prior to everybody else. And last weekend or a couple weekends ago when we did our demo day inside here, we had product that's going to get introduced next week at the PGA show.
Oh my gosh!
So it's pretty cool, and that's just with getting the room acclimated now. So.
I can vouch. Cool. I can vouch for the club fitting. I mean, I'm way below average golfer, but I was nervous. I was nervous that whole experience because I don't want to look like a doofus in front of a dude that's like a professional golfer, right? And the experience was flawless. It was awesome. When he asked me my handicap, I told him golf, and he got a chuckle out of it. And it was never a shame on you situation,
right?
For people who, and this is why I love what you do, what Stacy does, what your whole crew does, because you don't want people to fear golf. Golf is a game that there's enough fear to go around. There's enough, self-loathing that you can have in 9 holes or 18 holes. But this is a good way to learn with the pressure off. I mean, in a kind of a party style. I mean, this isn't just for, the guys and the gals that are out there swinging the clubs and talking about, you're a birdie golfer. You can come in here, have a good time, have a birthday party, and hey, you get better at golf too.
Oh, absolutely. And the club fitting aspect that you bring up, I mean, everybody's built completely differently. Our arms, our heights, everything, hands, from hand size to grip size, everybody's completely different. So making an investment into golf equipment, which is not cheap, that's just how it is in the industry. You want to make sure that it's fit for you, your build, your complexion as a golfer. And if you're making that sort of investment, you want to make sure that those clubs are good for you long term. And having an opportunity to be able to do it here, I think is special on its own. And then like perfect example of last weekend, the Browns were on and the Steelers were on, and to have a group come up here, hey, we want to rent the base for the entire length of the Steelers game or the Browns game for 3-4 hours. It's pretty neat to see that. The guys want to watch the game. They want to hit balls. They want to play, and bring a group of 4 out. And they spent 4 hours here, last Saturday and the Sunday prior to that. So it's pretty cool to be able to see that and to see them enjoy everything that we have up here. And the reviews have been excellent. And part of that is the homework that our staff had done in the off season to make sure that basically we went into places saying, what would you do differently? What would you adjust, having known that you've built it? And we've kind of implemented some of that into our model here. Our architects were fabulous to work with. Our contractor was exceptional. Met with them once a week from the start of the project to the finish. Very hands-on. Really kept you into the loop. So, I mean, having those relationships and having the opportunity to build off of the studying of going back to 6 and 7 years ago and putting ideas down to what we thought we needed here was pretty cool. And then our team here at the Metro Parks, our executive director, Aaron Young, and Justin Rogers, our planning and operations director, were very easy to work with from the capital improvement budget to getting everything lined up, and making the project happen. If it wasn't for their support and they're getting behind the project here, it certainly wouldn't be what you see today. But it's a total team effort.
So I got to ask you a question. So you're talking about Pebble Beach and what you said, 300 golf courses that you can pick
Yep.
from. That's incredible. Will Mill Creek ever have one on here? Can you simulate Mill Creek?
You can simulate Mill Creek, but it costs a lot of
Okay.
money. Yeah, they had a deal where, like, before, I think, December of this year, it was affordable. Now, like, beyond 2024,
Yeah.
it's not quite as affordable as it was. But they also have a par 3 course lineup in there. They have a junior course lineup.
Oh my
They have a
gosh.
tour venue. They have an overseas lineup, and then basically every course. I mean, like Firestone. So if you're familiar with this area, you're familiar with
Yeah.
Firestone in the tournament, you can go play the golf
Not
course.
Firestone
on here.
Farms, for those of you. There's a confusion out there.
Yep.
Firestone Akron, right?
Firestone and Akron. So, I mean, you have that. Obviously, we just picked up the Pebble Beach package, which has Pebble Beach, Spyglass Hills, and Spanish Bay.
Oh.
So it's neat to have those in the fray. Those are the top 3 golf courses on the program. So to be able to come and say, hey, I played Pebble Beach today is pretty unique on its own.
That's wild. And so for you, I'm sure you've given these a time or two, a swing or two. What do you like about the simulators? What do you like about these particular simulators that maybe other ones don't necessarily have?
Well, we went with the TrackMan, and certainly TrackMan's a little bit more expensive. The philosophy behind TrackMan, it was designed to basically launch rockets. NASA used them for the rocket launch. So they got a lot of data, and TrackMan, just beyond golf, goes with baseball pitchers, velocity, and the speed of a pitcher pitching. Punters and kickers use it. Athletes use it for so many different things. And this, the data collection is unbelievably good. There's an app that comes with our unit, to where anything that you do practicing and playing, it'll send you that data on your phone. So if you hit 50, 100-yard shots and you missed 50 of them or 25 of them or half of them, you can look at the data and say, hey, I need work on my 100-yard shot. I need work on my 50-yard shot. So it gives you that opportunity. And from a teaching standpoint, it'll video your swing as we're giving you a golf lesson. So you can see where we can go in there and mark up lines, and hey, your head's moving here. You can circle it and show them that basically on an email or on their app, based on how they've got the usage of, is it a golf lesson? Is it practice time? Is it playing? It will tell you every shot that you hit on Pebble Beach when you played it last Saturday.
All in that little machine.
All in that little machine down there.
That's incredible. I mean, and for those of you who not avid golfers, but are trying to break down the context of what Brian just said, imagine kind of huddle breakdown, huddle assist that will basically give you, it'll tape you, it'll film you what you're doing, and it'll break down your swing based on, I mean, all the stuff that he said, but just kind of dumbed it down for you in the 10-cent product. It'll make your thinking. It'll think for you, I guess is what I'm looking at. AI, folks, it's here. So will it do like the tailing? You know what I'm talking about? Like you see on
Shot
the PGA?
Tracer?
Yeah,
absolutely, 100%.
Really?
It'll not only do that, and the thing that I think is unique is it'll tell you exactly where you hit it on the face, and it is dead accurate, because we have face tape when we do fitting.
Okay.
And basically where it is on the club face is identical to what it shows on the screen. That's how precise it is. It's within a yard of what your carry, what your rollout, your club head speed, and all that.
So where's the actual machine?
So you get, everything comes off the machine, which is below our feet here, and it's going, from pretty much right underneath that light, and it picks it up from there.
So there's no camera up there?
There's no camera up there.
Okay.
But you can add cameras to the sides, or you can add a cell phone to the side or behind.
Okay.
And you can get like down the line side view, right? If you're left-handed, we've got another pod that you can do that from on the left-hand side there. But
it's incredible.
Very unique. The technology and the data is so accurate that it's scary.
That's incredible.
And the scary part is that everybody thinks they hit it 300 yards till you get on there, and it's like, that can't be right.
Cage bombs.
It is. And it's like I said, it's very numbing when you see what your numbers really are.
It's humbling, right?
It is. It's very humbling, and to see how far maybe you don't hit it.
You said that there's opportunities to work with a league and do stuff through leagues here. What are the plans for that?
There's some tournament opportunities that are on there. Basically, you can play other facilities that basically have these TrackMan units, and you can play PGA Tour events. TrackMan will put in $100,000 to every tour tournament that they have that mimics what's on the PGA Tour. So when they play AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, you'll be able to play it on here. There's an entry fee, obviously, to those, and you can come rent the bay and you can play in that tournament. They had the Mesquite Long Drive Challenge that's around Christmas time every year. They had it on there, and the drive that won was 402 yards. So it was ridiculous. So, part of the technology here is when you go hit balls in Mesquite or Colorado, when you're above sea level and the ball travels further, it will mimic that climate that you're hitting in. So when you go down to Florida or South Carolina, when you're at sea level and the ball travels like one club shorter, it'll do that as well.
No
so
kidding.
I mean, it's set up right where
Wow.
you're at, whatever your geological location is on the map, based on the air quality, altitude, the whole 9 yards. That's how precise it is.
So judging by all the great talent that we have here locally in golf, we should be able to bring in a lot of money in some of these tournaments, right?
We should be able to. Absolutely. And funny story, when we were getting these, there's a pro in the Akron Canton area, a very good player, and I think he's won about $147,000 just playing on this in the winter.
Oh
now he's a good player in our section, but just as like a little hobby playing on here.
Oh, a little hobby, 45
yeah, exactly.
G's. Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, and this isn't a joke. I was kind of tongue in cheek the last question, but we do have a legitimate amount of talent here, especially in the high school. I mean, you talk about JFK that won the state championship. Yep. You got Rocco Turner out there, who you can't talk about local golf without stumbling on his name. For local golfers, you've seen the level up in the last 3 years easily, right? What do you think something like this is going to help the area if we have, and you alluded to, golfers golfing 12 months out of the year?
Right. Well, you have to keep swinging. Having 4 or 5 months without touching the club certainly doesn't help.
Yeah.
More so full swing, irons, drivers, those 100-yard shots and stuff that you lose feel and that takes you a while to get back into a month or two into the season. Now you have the opportunity to keep that going from November all the way through March, April, whenever our season kicks off. So I think that's going to be huge. We've had a number of high school teams already come in here and rent the bays and practice, and got a couple other high school teams that are going to do that this week and this weekend. So, to be able to see everybody that plays here, because we host about 9 high school teams when it's all said and done, plus the men's and women's at Youngstown State, to be able to see them in the bay and, having fun and continuing to work on their game is pretty cool.
See, for the normal average Joe at home, they're probably sitting there going, hey, that Tonar guy, he finally got to work in the winter. You are so excited for this, because it's more work for you, and you do work a lot that people don't realize, but it's right up your alley. The golf is still going to be your passion no matter which way you slice it. So for you, I mean, is that a welcome addition? Is more work? Obviously, more revenue streams is always good, but it's more work.
Comes to the territory. If we can expand the golf season, it's worth doing.
That's awesome.
Anything that you can do to continue golf on. And like I said, the alternative side is we get to keep our pro shop open. We get to keep the restaurant open. We get to get more of the non-golfers coming in, whether it's, I'm going out, snow skiing or, cross country skiing or whatever the case may be. Giving people the opportunity that may have never played golf, the opportunity to come in here and to be able to learn and say, hey, I may like it. It's very comfortable setting up here. It's very calm, very relaxing. Giving people an opportunity, I think, is huge.
These got to be
how you can do it.
They've got to be thousands of dollars an hour, right?
I wish that was the case, but we'll do well.
Yeah, I mean, this is a situation where, I mean, these are affordable. Like, people will look at this and they'll go, I can't afford that. These are very affordable. Obviously, a lot of, I mean, what's the best way to do something like this? I mean, you could probably rent a bay out yourself if you really want to, if you have the means. But if you're a beginner and you've got 3 or 4, 10-year-olds that are golfing kind of, just for fun at this point, as a mom or a dad, can you be like, hey, kids, jump in the car. We're going to take you up to Mill Creek and we're going to golf a few rounds?
100%. We saw that this weekend,
really?
Friday evening and Saturday evening. So, it's definitely there. I mean, me personally, I like coming up here and seeing the numbers on the driving range and, how far am I carrying my 7-iron, my 8-iron, my 9-iron, so I can be more precise when the season starts. As a resident of Mahoning County, during the week, it's $30 to rent the bay for that hour. If you bring 4 guys, it's $15 a head. So, I mean, very inexpensive, very competitive with our area. Goes up $10 on Saturday and Sunday. We're open 11 to 7 during the week, 10 to 7 on Saturdays, and 10 to 6 on Sundays. and it's been pretty good just to get the dust off your clubs and carry that into the spring.
And it's got to be exciting for you guys. I mean, all jokes aside, I mean, being able to bring golf in. We already talked about how exciting it is 12 once a year, but to be able to see golfers more regularly
Right.
and keep golf in the front of their minds, because it's always in the front of yours. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You've got a little guy running around that's probably going to be better than Tiger Woods, in my humble opinion. But I can't wait to see him on TV. But this is where it starts. I mean, people
It
think
is.
you just pick up a club and
Yep.
go out and hack and you turn it into a live tour or PGA tour type golfer. You've got to work on your craft here. And the data, I think that
Right.
we all understand. If you are able to read that data and correct your stuff, you're able to correct it before you ever set foot out there in the spring.
Oh, you're right. I mean, it's to not be able to swing a club for a couple months is a detriment going into the season. So if you can carry that on, you're in good shape. The data that you get from the machines is to the point where when you're fitting, you're looking at numbers. You're looking at raw numbers. We can change the club head. We can change how the settings are in that club head and get your numbers without changing anybody's golf swing. You can swing how you normally swing to get you to the numbers that you need for optimal launch, optimal roll, and the whole 9 yards. So the data is very precise. And if you can have someone pick up 12 to 27 yards just by changing the club head, getting his spin numbers right where you want it and his launch angle correct without changing their swing, it's a pretty cool tale to tell somebody that is buying a club that's going to invest a great bit of money that say, hey, you're going to carry it 15 yards further and you're going to get 27 more yards of roll out of it. It's pretty cool.
Let's talk about the party side of this before we shift gears into PGA Live Tour, because I got some questions. I got a lot of questions for you, as I'm sure people do as well. You can type them into the comments. We'll get them to Brian. So this is, I mean, these spaces right now, they're absolutely pristine, cleaned, like you could eat off of them. You're allowed to bring, you order from Hole 55.
Correct.
They bring the food up to you, or you go down and get, how does this work?
You can do either.
Okay.
You can. A lot of people, what they're doing is they're coming here. They're ordering before their time slots.
At Hole 55.
Like say I'm coming and I know my tee time's at 3:00. They're down there at 2 or 3, getting a bite to eat, bringing a bucket of beer up, bringing some drinks up. Using their hour or two, and then going back down and maybe eating dinner afterwards. We saw that over the weekend, and we'll continue to do that. But beverages, obviously, with the state liquor laws, you have to buy them from here,
sure,
just like it would be on the golf course on any other property. Food and beverage, they will be offering that from the same times that we're open, from 11 to 7, Monday through Friday, and then the weekend hours as well. So you do have that opportunity to, yes, you can come up here and eat. You can drink and have a good time and be responsible and all of that too.
Be responsible.
Be responsible, absolutely. And we haven't had any issues since we've opened, and nothing's getting broken, and it's obviously looks brand new, and we want to keep it that way. Our crew does a nice job of cleaning at the end of the day, and we treat it like, hey, this is our house. We want it to be spotless for when any guest or any visitor comes here. We want to present them with a pristine package.
Okay, so this is a dicey question.
Yep.
Can people bring in food from outside?
You can bring in food from outside. However, we're finishing up the details of their contract. As a golf outing, they have the first right of refusal on what we do, and we're hashing that out now. So
if I want to bring in a peanut butter sandwich,
we prefer that you buy it here, but
the Hole 55.
Hole
I mean,
55,
the food is amazing,
spectacular.
It's if you've never had it, you have to, and that's not. They don't sponsor us, right? The Hole 55 is it's legit. It's so good. What's their go-to at Hole 55?
The breakfast burger I like.
What's on that?
It's got a fried egg and bacon.
Oh, daddy!
Out of this world. Everything they have down there. Their specials. My wife loves their meatloaf.
Okay.
And, I mean, just
meatloaf.
They do a special, and throughout the course of the summer, and then obviously in the winter stuff, they're doing it like once a week to go. They did meatloaf. They've done. Parmesan, they you name it, they've had something on there. Chicken and greens. But their food's spectacular. Breakfast is unbelievable. Like I could eat breakfast here 24/7. It's that good.
I'm gonna have to come out here for breakfast. The breakfast burgers you sold me on. Yep. I love those. I used to have that at Red Robin. The Friday. Oh, daddy. All right, we're gonna take a break. We'll be back in about 2 minutes with Brian Tonar. We're gonna talk about a little bit about Live Tour PGA and some of the the rules and changes and what he sees, because listen, this guy is the golf guru of the entire, I'll say Valley. This is the golf guru of my world. So we're going to talk to him and break everything down in about 2 minutes right here, after a break and a word from our friends over at, I believe it's Toyota of Warren. Let's start there. Here we go.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Hi, this is Zell Bush.
Hi, this is Tom Flynn.
Hi, this is Steve Rossetto.
Hi, this is Ryan Miller.
Hi, this is Rich Sakui from WRS Wealth Advisors.
With our combined 80 years of experience, WRS Wealth Advisors are the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists.
Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services.
Or visit WRSwealth.com.
Go Raiders.
Go Dogs.
Go Cats.
Go Dogs. Go Tigers.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Nestled here in the beauty and splendor of Mill Creek Metro Parks are two of America's best golf courses, as selected by Golf Week magazine. Ranked number 9 in Ohio by TripAdvisor. Come play like a pro on these award-winning Donald Ross-designed courses. Enjoy a round with your kids and unwind with your favorite food and drinks in the grill room. For championship golf, look no further than your backyard. Mill Creek Golf Course.
So I wish I could have said I planned that. That just
commercial.
That just happened organically. We're here at the Mill Creek Golf Course with the legend of the land, Mr. Brian Tolnar, and the brand new. So what are we calling these suite? Just golf suites?
These are Bay 1, 2, and 3.
That's it.
Yep.
We got to come up with a better
simple
name for that.
Well, we do have some sponsor
Oh,
opportunities for each bay, the upstairs,
okay.
and the field house. So
Okay,
that
I
is
like.
going to be kicking off here shortly. But yeah, you'll have some naming rights opportunities to each of the 3 bays, the putting area, and then of course the field house as a whole, and then the upstairs of the field house.
That's
so, I mean,
incredible.
there's some cool stuff coming.
That
when it
is
comes to
neat.
that.
So what you're telling me, reading between the lines here, is that if you're out there and you want people to see your name, your business, your advertising at work, I mean, they can come into Bay 3 here, and it would be classily, I want to say classily, put up and represented here in Bay 3.
Absolutely. And then in addition to that, each bay, we have the opportunity to advertise in the left-hand portion of the screen. So we can, whatever the bay name is, that'll be in the bay going forward on each hole that comes up. It'll be on there for 10 seconds and then rotates through as the guys hit shots or girls hit shots or whatever.
Everybody's trying to get in that advertising space.
It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool gig.
Sack of subs. So let's talk PGA Tour, man. This year was a year unlike any other. I mean, you saw people coming, going, saying they'll never leave, leaving, coming back. Talk to me about, as someone who's loved that and has a firm grip on the pulse of the PGA Tour and just professional golf in general. what does that mean to the average game of golf? I mean, is the Live Tour going to help golf by posing a threat? Kind of. I mean, that's probably the wrong terminology, but is the game of golf going to grow because of competition?
Well, this one's a tough one, and obviously PGA America has a stance, and the tour has a stance, and all of that. But as a fan of golf, very different.
Yeah.
Last year was very different, and I, jokingly would tell people golf's the only sport that's still pure, that they really haven't, messed up. Like difference between college and the NIL and transfer portal is, I think, ruining college football, college basketball, because you don't have any affiliation or lock to that university. Or
No
that
loyalty.
school. No loyalty whatsoever. So when obviously LIV starts, and it's kind of like, boy, this is going to be interesting when it's all played out. And the money that these guys are getting is, yes, it's obscene, but if you look at it compared to baseball contracts and basketball contracts, it's about even.
Yep.
My theory is I have players on both sides that I really enjoy watching.
Okay.
And it stinks only being able to see them play together in the 4 majors if they're qualified. So I think it's hurting the game a little bit. I think through time, the PGA Tour and the LIV or whoever is going to have some merger, because you've got great players on both sides. It's about equal now.
Yeah.
I know the TV contract for golf expires, I want to say 2030.
Okay.
So when that happens, obviously, and they're not going to get the same amount of TV revenue income with the PGA Tour because you don't have Tiger.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, from a TV revenue standpoint, you based your sport on one player.
And Phil was a little piece of that.
And Phil was a little piece of that too. But going forward, you don't have, not to disrespect the other players, because I think there's great athletes, and they're not going to be able to have the bar that Tiger and Phil had in the heyday, going back and forth, neck to neck. So I think it's going to be hard for them to get television contracts like the one that they currently have right now. So they were smart in doing like a 10-year deal.
Oh yeah.
But going forward, I don't see where TV will get the ratings, because on a great rating for like a US Open or a Masters, it's still pale in comparison to other sports that are out there. It's minute when it comes across. So, watching LIV on CW, I don't know.
So I'm interested
my
because
kid loves it though, because all the data is kind of like playing PS5, which I don't really get, because that wasn't the generation that I grew up on. But the kids and the younger players seem to enjoy that better than the PGA Tour. That's why I said I think at some point you have to marry it somehow. Now, having a Ryder Cup or some kind of cup where LIV players are playing the PGA Tour, I think you'd blow up, TV population and viewership in a heartbeat, just because you want to see it.
This reminds me of WCW
exactly
and WWF.
Yep.
I mean, honest to gosh, because you've got the classic, this is what wrestling was, right? That's the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
And then you've got the WWF that says, hey, we're going to shake things up. Our guys are the Live Tour, the LIV Tour. Our guys are allowed to be in golf carts. You can wear shorts. You can drink beer. What? It's almost, they saw the catering of the regular golfer and they said, we want that. Why don't we televise that? And I think that's brilliant.
Perfect example of that is the Waste Management that's held in Phoenix, where they built that stadium.
Yep.
That hole alone does $20 million in 4 days, and you're only on one hole.
Yep.
The traffic that they get through there, the record attendance that they have there every year, that's what people want. They want to have a party and they want to sit on a hole and do that. Now, you can't do that in the majors. I think you got to have some separation there, but LIV is more that, which is what the younger crowd wants. So I think you have to marry that in somehow. But you've got your traditionalists of the game of, older than my generation and maybe my generation, that we want it this way, and this way. The golf ball rollback, I 100% don't agree with. Let the tour players get their golf balls rolled back. But for the average Joe that comes out here on a Saturday and Sunday,
what's that mean?
Well, they put a restrictor on the golf ball coming in 2028.
Okay.
So it's not going to fly as far. It's going to be 10 to 15% less.
Okay.
So the average golfer on a weekend is going to lose distance because the tour players are overpowering these golf courses. So limit their golf balls, but don't limit the amateur golfer. So I mean, there's a lot of things, with LIV, with golf ball restrictions and PGA Tour, that I think is going to get more dicey until they figure out what the formula is. And I don't think either side has any idea of what the final marriage is going to be.
Okay, so look into the crystal ball. Who breaks first, the PGA or the LIV? Because you say marriage, and you know how marriages end up.
LIV has unlimited funds, so they're in the driver's seat, and they're at the point where they have almost all the prominent players that mean something for TV ratings. So they have the largest amount of, I would say, revenue and the largest amount of popularity to negotiate, because they have all the good players.
They have the leverage.
They have the leverage on everything going down, whether it's TV, whether it's players, whether it's events and setup. So it's a chess match, and I don't think either side knows. They said they were going to agree on something by the 31st of December. It got moved to March or whatever the date was, because they can't figure out how to come to grips. PGA Tour was nonprofit. It was a charities type of a deal where they would donate to each community. Where does that go?
Yeah.
I mean, do you keep that in there? Does that money go to the players? Does it turn to for-profit? Very similar to, if you talk to like Jack Nicklaus, he doesn't really have anything bad to say at LIV, because Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, and Gary Player broke the PGA Tour away from the PGA of Americas. The PGA America, that was a wing
can't
of
say
the
anything.
PGA Tour, so they're not going to say anything.
No.
So it's kind of because they did the same
They're
thing.
the wolf pack.
Exactly. So, looking at the old timers, I mean, that was their way to make money, because PGA of America didn't have the money to give them the money that they made at that particular time, which was a lot of money, but it wasn't what the PGA could afford to pay. Now we're in the same boat when it comes to the PGA Tour and LIV and so on down the line. And then how do you pay for these tournament purses that are equivalent, from a major to dump an extra 10 or $20 million into the majors and these major events? Where do you get that money from? Does that come from the charity? Does it come from getting more sponsors? I'm not sure where that's at either. And I don't know that anybody has that magic formula to be able to contabulate, but it's interesting. Like I said, I have players that I really root for on both. And, come the majors, I love watching that because they're all playing together. And
it's fair enough.
It's tough. I mean, it is. I know, certain people have certain stances, certain organizations have certain stance on it, but I just like golf. I like watching them all play.
Yeah.
And I like watching my players play. So yeah, I watch both.
See, it's funny. You've talked about the players a lot. I think when I'm looking at this, I'm looking more at the rules, right? That's what interests me the most.
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, you're still playing under USGA rules. It's wearing shorts versus pants. It
doesn't matter to you.
It doesn't matter.
Does it bother you?
It's more professional in pants.
Sure.
But
okay, so let's go with this. Your number one favorite rule of the PGA Tour that you cannot be stricken by LIV, and the number one rule that you hate about the PGA Tour, and vice versa for LIV. So you got 4 rules in general. What things do you like? What things don't you?
I don't know if there's a certain rule. I mean, I do like the wearing pants because it's classy, it's professional. I don't get into that. I don't mind the party side of it, because that's where the fans and that's where the people like the entertainment.
It's the entertainment, yep.
Because it's basically what it is. The guys, Palmer and Player, those guys were entertainers. They brought golf to the forefront of television. They made it a popular sport. They made it a non-stuffy sport. And, to see what happens in waste management, to me, that's a fun hole. I want to go down there and have a good time and
I'm in.
Relax and cheer and hoot and holler. But do you need that every week? I don't know. Maybe you do. The team aspect of it, I understand what they're trying to do with it. Getting these players' teams, the names are cheesy. Number one, don't like it. It's just, but I think what's going to happen is each one of these teams is going to be, that's the AT&T team. That's the Sony team. That's the, you name whatever the sponsor is. That's how I think that's going to go. And all those players are going to wear, hey,
like
I
soccer.
play for team. Exactly. I think, and then you sell the gear to each one of those teams. I think that's where they're headed.
Yeah.
Because I think that's where the money has to be.
Yes.
Fans get behind their team of players and kind of go from there, which is very different from the PGA. And the PGA is like, hey, we don't want to do that. And then Tiger and Rory's like, hey, we're going to do that. So it's like, well, you're just copying what you said you didn't want to do. And, going forward. But like I said, I like guys on both sides, but I think the team aspect of it is interesting. And it all comes down to what FanDuel and DraftKings and everything else from a betting perspective.
Follow the money.
Follow the money. And hey, I wager on this team. I wager a bet on how's this team going to do on hole 17 at Sawgrass and hole 16 at Waste Management or whatever the tournament may be. But I think that's where it's headed. And it has to be, and they're going to get their name, image, and likeness money based on how many Phil Mickelson jerseys, how many John Rahm jerseys we sell, and however that plays out. But there will be some kind of corporate sponsorship or loyalty.
That's where the money comes from.
Absolutely.
So I was watching Pat McAfee show, and he had Phil Mickelson on, and Phil was talking. Did you see that interview?
I did not.
Okay, so Phil was talking about how there's a segment, and you probably can explain this better than I can, but like they can have an academy based on their teams. Like they get the first right of refusal with their players to have them be coaches and bring people into their academies. What are the advantages to that? I mean, is that something like as a golf instructor, golf teacher here in the United States, like there's an advantage of getting people into your academy? Is that like an agent kind of thing, or how does that play in?
I'm not sure how that's going to work out. I know that those guys are doing a lot of Twitter and Facebook lessons, like 2-minute hits here and there based on, hey, I'm doing a chipping tip, I'm doing a bunker tip and all of that.
Which are ridiculous, by the way. Phil's are nuts.
He's got the best short game out of anybody that's out there. But I think what you're going to find is you're going to have these 80 players be at the top of the heap. And then you're going to have the PGA Tour, the DP European Tour, the Japanese Tour, whatever it is. You're going to always have players trying to get up into this 80 that are guaranteed ridiculous amounts of money. And I think that's going to be the feeder. Okay. And you're going to want those guys on your team to bring them up into the fray when Phil Mickelson ages out, because he's almost there.
So
already.
It's like a pro-am almost, sort of.
It's going to be a team with pros, but they're trying to get into this pot where all the extra money is. Yeah. And then you're going to do well down here, but you're going to make buku bucks.
You got
here.
The senseis at the top and the tenpais down below.
Exactly.
I see how it is.
I think that's how it's going to go. And then getting your guys in, feed them into your teams when someone ages out.
That's interesting. I mean, I don't think that in my wildest dreams when I started golfing that I ever saw golf doing something like this.
Me neither.
And that says something.
At all. I mean, if you told me that, I'd laughed at you.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't see it. Part of me is like, I don't see still how it's going to work, but obviously they got deep pockets and more money than they can throw at you.
So what does it mean for the local golfer here? I mean, we talked about the state championships and the golfers that we have locally. Do you think it brings more, whatever this becomes, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think it brings more interest to golf to people to pick up the club, or do you think it grows the animosity towards golf and they're saying that this isn't the game that I fell in love with?
Probably a little bit of both.
Okay.
But I think the generation of like my kid, 12 and 13-year-old, they like the team aspect of it. They like how LIV is set up, how it's televised, and how the leaderboard scrolls, the team leaderboard. They're into all of that data.
Yeah.
When you're playing Madden or whatever, you're looking at plays, you're seeing all kinds of stuff going on. Yeah. They like all the action and interaction of what's going on. And I think from a betting perspective, because that's going to be what it's all about when it's all said and done. You can be able to bet just like you would bet a football game, basketball game, and tease bets and all of that stuff that I know very little about because I don't do it. But I got a lot of friends that do that, and they're into that stuff. But I see it going in that direction just for that reason. I mean, you're going to get outside money, you're going to get Vegas money, you're going to get all of that stuff because someone's going to sign with them.
Just kind of wrap things up here from the beautiful Mill Creek golf course and the brand new Bays
Indoor Player Development Center.
There we go. I look around here and it's like every time I look around, I see something new. You got big screen TVs. So what you were talking about, getting your swings in, but also watching the game.
Absolutely. And what's coming, I think, will launch after the PGA show next week. They're also going to give us the opportunity to split screen. So you'll watch the game on the right or the left or wherever you want to put the box, and you can play whatever golf course or driving range or wherever you're at. So you can watch it there as well as the big screen TV.
Oh, that's not distracting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then you can come in, play Pebble Beach. You said $30 an hour during the week?
During the week.
And then what, $10 extra?
Yep. 40 on the weekend.
I mean,
so very reasonable.
Very
You bring in
reasonable.
3 of your buddies, it's $15 a head. It's $20 a head. So
Yeah, it's
on weekends versus weekday for residents. And what I like about it is, like, if we had the volume up,
yeah.
you could hear if someone hits it in the water, you hear it splash in the water. You
Splash.
hear the wave splash. You hear whatever's on that golf course. You're going to feel like you're there when it's all said and done.
So if somebody wants to, and they will, start booking these bays, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, you can do it one of two ways. You can call the golf shop here at 330-740-7112, or you can jump on our website, millcreekmetroparks.org. There's a link for tee times for North and South and the Indoor Player Development Center as well.
There it is. Brian Tonar, BT, one of our favorite friends to talk to during the year. And people don't realize this, like, you live golf, but I think you call me more during the year about the other sports. And it's fun because you are invested not just in golfers, but I mean, we talk football,
Yep.
we talk hoops, your kid's involved in multiple sports. Why is it so important for you from a standpoint of kids getting involved in, whether it's in golf or otherwise, just multiple sports and keeping out throughout the year?
I think staying, physically in shape and always on the move, I think is huge. Keeping kids off the cell phones and off the games, I think are huge. And if you can do that via sports, it's a great stress reliever. It's a great way to get out. It's a great way to meet people, and it's a great way to have fun. And I think, whether it's flag football, youth soccer here at the Metro Parks, volleyball, deck hockey, any of the things that we do, I think going out there and being in the community and being involved and being able to play and meet new people, I think is very important.
And in the winter, what things? I mean, you told me about the hill.
We got
how
sled hill
crazy
going
that
right
is.
now. Yep.
What other things can people do in the winter that maybe they didn't know about for Mill Creek?
You can cross country ski out here all winter long.
That sounds
You can
terrifying.
snowshoe. You can hike. You can,
What's snowshoe?
when you put those big shoes on, you walk on, the snow that's this deep.
People do
Like,
that?
to me, it looks like you're walking on tennis rackets.
Yeah.
Kind of a deal, but people do that out here all the time.
It's incredible.
They have a great time doing it. You can go to the sled hill and sled ride. And, right now we're getting to the point where we're preparing for spring sports. So kayak rentals are hot and heavy right now,
Yep.
and getting ready for youth flag football in the spring and youth soccer and the whole gamut. So, there's a lot of opportunities and a lot of ways to get out there and enjoy the Metro Parks. We have by far the biggest gem in Mahoning County when it comes to, not even the recreational aspects of it, but I mean, you go to Fellows Riverside Gardens, you go to Ford Nature Center, which they redid, and it opened a little over a year ago. It's spectacular inside, from what you knew as a kid to the way it is now. It's unbelievable. Lanterman's Mill. I mean, you name it, it goes on and on and on for everything that we've got going here. And there's some great things happening.
Great people here at Mill Creek Metro Parks. BT just, to me, at the top of the heap. So, my friend, thanks for opening up the shop. This is unbelievable. We're going to be back without a doubt. I'll probably get some swings in before I
He's gonna
leave.
be getting some shots here
Oh
on hole
my
7
God.
at Pebble.
Let's loosen it up. My old MJ's got to get loose here. On behalf of Brian Tonar, I'm DJ Yoakley. This has been the YSN Power Hour, all brought to you by our friends at Toyota of Warren. We'll see you out there in YSN land, 7 o'clock. A lot of games starting tonight. Head on over to ysnlive.com/live for all the listings of our games happening tonight. Until then, we'll see you next time right here on the YSN Power Hour. Peace.